Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be demonstrating clonal propagation for hemp and the standard operating procedures to create a successful cloning protocol. So we cover some of the materials that we need. First of all, very important to keep things as clean as possible. So we'll put on our gloves. And we've taken about a 2-foot branch from a stock plant, one of our mother plants in our greenhouse. We have a separate room for all of our mothers. So this should give us plenty of plant material to come up with the 5 to 6 cuttings that we need for this demonstration. Other materials, we have a cup of water. So when we take our cuttings, we're going to place them in the cup of water until we're ready to put them in our rock wool cubes, which have been pre-soaked and pre-hydrated to make sure that there's plenty of moisture for our fresh cuttings, because the cuttings are when the plant is at its most fragile and delicate stage. We're using today Clonex rooting gel. So I poured a little bit into a cup, and it's very viscous, and this should be refrigerated when it's not in use as well. And of course we have a razor blade to take our actual cuttings, make sure the razor blade is sanitized. We want to keep our area as clean as possible to avoid any disease, pressure, bringing it into the plant at any early stage. For the rock wool, I'm also going to be putting my own holes using a toothpick into the cubes, because the fragility of the cuttings, that it's actually not able to penetrate the already existing holes in the rock wool. So we want to make sure that we're punching our own pre-designated holes in. That way, after we dip our cuttings in the rooting solution, they can just easily slide into the hydrated rock wool, and they're ready to go into our clone room in our greenhouse. So I'm going to do 6 cuttings. I actually already have 5 set up, so I'll demonstrate how we're going to do this. We want to look for areas toward the top of the plant. We're looking for about a 5 to 6 inch stem here, and we're looking for branches that have at least 3 true leaves. See, this is a good size. Again, about 5 to 6 inches. Finding areas in the plant that have 3 true leaves. Anything beyond 3 true leaves, we're going to cut off those excess leaves from the bottom of the cutting. So I'm going to take my razor blade and at a 45-degree angle, I'm going to make our cutting. And you can see 1, 2, 3 true leaves on this particular cutting. We're going to go ahead and do our wounding procedure, where we're just scraping with our razor blade the outer epidermal layer at the bottom of the stem. The wounding is going to stimulate more aggressive and faster rooting. So we're going to go ahead and dip our fresh cutting into the Clonex solution. We want about 1.5 inches of the stem dipped in, and you can see it gets a nice purple color, so it's pretty apparent when it's all covered in. And from there, we're just going to insert it into our pre-drilled holes into the pre-hydrated rock wool cubes, and repeat for the remaining 5. So we have 6 rock wool cubes here, so we'll do 6 total cuttings. And from there, the cuttings will be placed under humidity dome and put into our clone room in our greenhouse. We want to make sure that they're in high humidity conditions, at least 60% relative humidity, optimally about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We don't want the temperature to drop below 72 degrees in our greenhouse when the cuttings are rooting. Again, this is the most delicate and fragile stage of the propagation life cycle, so very important that our environmental conditions are well checked and accounted for and maintained. So I have 6 total cuttings in here. Again, these are going to go back into the greenhouse under our humidity dome, and about 2 weeks later, we should see the white roots starting to come through the bottom of the rock wool cubes, and then they will be ready to transplant it.